Wildflower Lacquer has two special edition polishes and the Celestial collection for the January 2023 release. Wildflower Lacquer, Always Remember You Are Stronger Than You Think, is the suicide awareness polish for 2023. Taylor's grandfather lost his battle with depression in 2005, and she does a yearly polish to support causes related to his interest. This year, $5 from each sale benefits a split between the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The polish has a mauve taupe base with pink gold green multi-chrome iridescent shimmer. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. Wildflower Lacquer Celine 2.0 is a deep navy with magenta gold green multi-chrome shimmer and hollow microflakes. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. Again, it has a nice fast-drying formula. Next are polishes in the Celestial collection, inspired by astrophotography. Wildflower Lacquer Cygnus Loop is a deep charcoal with magenta gold green multi-chrome shimmer and hollow microflakes. I wore this in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. This looks similar to Celine 2.0, but the base is gray and the shimmer is larger particle and has a stronger shift. Wildflower Lacquer Cygnus Wall is a cobalt blue with gold, green, blue, indigo, multi-chrome iridescent shimmer, and hollow microflakes. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but again, 2 will cover. The base covers and colors some of the hollow flakes, which is a fun effect. Wildflower Lacquer Elephant Trunk Nebula is a brick red jelly with green, gold, magenta, multi-chrome iridescent shimmer. I wore it in 4 thin coats, but 2 or 3 will cover. This one may stain susceptible nails, so if you care about nail staining, I would skip this one. The effect of it with the contrast shimmer is really unique, and I love its look. Wildflower Lacquer Lagoon Nebula is a charcoal base with magnetic hollow shimmer and copper, red, gold, green, multi-chrome large particle iridescent shimmer. I wore it in 2 thin coats, but 1 might cover. The magnetic effect is subtle. Here it is shown without the magnet applied. Wildflower Lacquer Milky Way is a medium gray shimmer with pink-orange duochrome shimmer and linear hollow shimmer. I wore it in 3 thin coats, but 2 will cover. Wildflower Lacquer North America Nebula is a lilac jelly with aqua magenta duochrome shimmer. I wore this in 4 thin coats, but 2 or 3 will cover. It had a fast-drying formula and is not prone to streaks or bubbling. This one had a really strong shift and glow. Wildflower Lacquer Supernova is technically intended as a topper, but I wore it as a full polish. It has a clear base with a lot of hollow microflakes and orange, red, green, multi-chrome iridescent microglitter. I wore it in 4 thin coats on its own, but 3 cover fairly sufficiently. There were no issues with texture or removal.